is sex addiction really curable? So, right, if we're framing it as a disease, right, are diseases or illnesses curable?
I'm going to give the answer of no. And I think about, one of the analogies we sometimes use is we talk about sex addiction as being kind of like diabetes. You can manage it and you can live a very healthy life and you can be, minimally impacted by diabetes, but you're still going to have to pay attention and manage it. My experience with sex addiction is it's similar to that people make great strides in sobriety. I know people who have decades of sobriety under their belt. People can radically change their life when they're living their life in a different way and they're embracing recovery. And yet, what I have seen is that people's brains are still vulnerable. I very rarely encourage an addict to assume they've got this licked and to stop continuing to do their recovery work. They have to continue, in my experience, to actively, figure out what does recovery and managing recovery and holding appropriate boundaries look like for them. And so when I hear the word cured, I think the question is, can I get to the point where I never have to pay attention to this ever again? And I've moved beyond it and I can just live my life without concern for it. I don't think that's where anybody ever gets in recovery, but can they manage it and live their life in a very healthy way for themselves and for the people in their life? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. It really depends for me on what they're talking about when they say cured. Is that, like you described, never you're cured and you don't have to pay attention and don't have to be thoughtful as you move forward? Then I'm going to say no. But cured, can I have sobriety? Can I maintain sobriety? Can I live a healthy sexual life and be sexually addiction sober? Yes. And that can be a way of life. So I feel like it depends on how this client is defining it. And I know that I am, that's my answer is it depends. But I want to endorse and affirm, I agree with the idea of staying aware, but perhaps a person doesn't have to be in 2-3 meetings a week or, constant in their service work and all those things and still keep sobriety and good, healthy relationships.
Yeah.
But I think that awareness of being conscious when you walk into certain environments, that you know what your red flags are and you know what's going to be a problem and you have a good plan before you get there as best you can. So I guess it really comes back to me depends what you mean by cured.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like this discussion, this conversation we're having. So in my life right now, I have a number of people who are struggling with different illnesses. I have a friend who has cancer. I have a friend who has Parkinson's. And one of the pieces that I've realized is they are living life differently. They're basically saying, oh my gosh, how can I be as healthy as I possibly can be? And so they're looking at all aspects of their life, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and saying, what do I need to do? And then also their support team, who are the best supports in my, I'm going to say battling this. And so if we look at sex addiction as something that's maladapted in the brain, could be trauma, it could be a lot of different pieces. How does that person say, okay, how do I get this? I'll take the cancer analogy. How do I get this in remission?
Yeah.